through it. Desperation meter for these two. How desperate should both of these teams be to get to the finals and win it all this year when everyone talks about the Eastern Conference as down because of the injuries?
Well, I mean, they should have a heightened sense of urgency, but what that looks like in October is being able to workshop the different things that you've got to get ironed out so that when you get to the postseason, your team is at peak performance. And I thought that both teams did a great job of that last night, right? There were good people on both sides. What the Knicks did, Mike Brown playing 11 guys in the first 13 minutes of the game, I thought that was huge. That was the biggest knock on Tom Thibodeau in terms of not trusting guys on the bench, not playing guys on his bench, and his starters running out of gas at the end of the season. Well, not last night. Jalen Brunson, your best player, only played 31 minutes. And he was hella efficient in that 31 minutes. They found ways to be able to get him shots without him having to be on the ball, all the ball screens, high pick and roll. They didn't have to do that in order to get Jalen Brunson's opportunities and get the Knicks easy offense. And so I thought that was huge for them. On the other side of it with the Cavs, I thought they did a great job of tinkering with some things, some pieces that they're going to need. Lonzo Ball, I thought from a health standpoint, looked as good as he has in years. And that's a player, that's a piece that they're going to need because Spider Mitchell and Darius Garland, as great as they are when they're rolling, they are awful defensively. Lonzo Ball, when he's right, is one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. So I thought him being able to log some minutes, him being able to rebound, him being able to push the ball ahead, his assist game, those are things he still does well. The shot making will come, and he's not going to take 7 threes every single game, but I thought that was a piece that the Cavs needed. Evan Mobley looked fantastic last night. Just his ability to be able to handle it, to be able to create space for him by himself, rather than relying on guys setting him up. I thought that's going to be huge in terms of unlocking something else in the Cavs offense. So on the whole, I thought both of these two teams coming out of last night's game have things that they can feel really good about.
Feel really good about, and also keep in perspective that you're missing key pieces and you're not 100% whole, and so not panic. But to your earlier point, Evan, both of these teams should have a tremendous sense of urgency to get it done, because I don't know if you're ever going to have a path that feels easier than it does right now with so many consequential injuries across the East. Think about it. Like, if you were the Knicks, you got so close last year, you weren't able to get through, and now it feels like your path is almost easier because you don't have Jason Tatum to contend with. You obviously have Tyrese Halliburton with the injury. We could go on and on about all the other things that they have working in their favor, but the Cavs too. You have to feel like if you don't get it done this season, you missed a major opportunity.
Yeah, I think the Cavs window may be a little bit longer than the Knicks window, just because the way in which the Knicks put it together, just because of the way in which the New York media puts and the fans put the pressure on the Knicks. And the Cavs are built around guys that, like Evan Mobley you're talking about, is still coming into his own to some extent. But what's interesting is former Cavs.
Doesn't he remind you a lot of Chris Bosh?
Yes, and Chris Bosh was amazing, and Chris Bosh is a Hall of Famer, and so I'm tentative to go to the place that anyone could be that good. But where Bosh excelled was in his second stop. And I'm not suggesting Mobley shouldn't be there. I'm suggesting what happened at his second stop. They moved him to center. They played a little bit more small ball. He plays next to Jared Allen. And that's always going to be the thing as to whether or not that's the best usage of him, or is the best usage of him to play that center position and have guys around him on the wings.
Well, I think you got to have both, especially with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, all those teams coming out of the West. They are deep and they are long.
No question. No question.
So, yeah, I love the idea of the Twin Towers for the Cavs.
So a former Cav may be putting a little bit more pressure on the current Cavs as LeBron James and Steve Nash have the Mind in the Game podcast. A reminder, that is a current Lakers employee and a current Suns employee actually doing a podcast together, which is interesting. And here is what LeBron and Steve Nash had to say about the Cavs and the pressure this season.
Cleveland, with Allen and Mobley, they have to be able to, complement one another. So
that one's under a little pressure this year, I think.
Oh, that whole.
So they're going to be great. Yeah. They're going to be great.
I think they're under the most pressure of any team coming to the season.
Why would he?
Are you suggesting that he's laying the groundwork for him to be someone to alleviate that pressure at some point?
I mean, they're under the most pressure of any team this season? I don't believe that to be true.
I don't know how they're under more pressure than the Knicks.
They're not.
Who went to the Final Four for the first time in 25 years and then fired the coach that brought him there.
How about
Hello.
I don't know that they're the
They're
top.
telling you that wasn't good enough.
Exactly. There's only one other place to go. There's only one more round after that.
Correct.
I don't even think
Only
they're
up
in the
from-
top 2 or 3 in the Eastern Conference.
Who
The
else?
Bucks are under way more pressure.
Oh, yeah, because Giannis potentially
Yeah,
leaving.
because Giannis has made it clear without making it clear. I'm here this year. But after this year, we'll see, right?
Are you putting Philly in that combo?
No, because I think Philly intelligently is leaning young with VJ Edgecombe with 34 last night, Maxey with 40. Like they're almost like, yeah, we have these older guys on the team, but we don't care. We're focusing on these 2 young guys in the backcourt, as they should. But I mean, you're looking at the Knicks absolutely have more pressure, I think, than the Cavs. I think the Bucks have more pressure this year than the Cavs. So that's 2 in the Eastern Conference alone.
Who's the other team? You said 3 teams.
No,
in
I
the
said
Eastern
2 or
Conference.
3 in the Eastern Conference. I think those 2 specifically. And I think you can make the argument, Orlando does, for this reason. Remember, the Cavs started their run with a different coach. This is the second coach of this group, right? JB Bickerstaff, great coach with the Pistons. They made a change. If Jamal Mosley doesn't get Orlando going, they could have a change. When I look at pressure, it's like what we talk about in the NFL. Like, is it Super Bowl or bust? Well, what happens? Are you going to get rid of the coach or quarterback? And the answer is no in a lot of these cases. In this case, could Orlando make a change at head coach? Of course, right? So I think the idea that the Cavs have the most pressure on them of any team in the league is nuts. That's before I even get to the Western
So what's
Conference.
the rhyme or reason why he's saying that?
Well, there's always something with him.
Okay.
And
what do you think that something is?
Could he I still think he's going to get moved. Could he potentially look at it and say, that team has more pressure. You need one more piece to put you over the top. Hi, I'm me from Akron. Finished my career here. Like, I'm just...
What could that piece be?
Yeah, him. He's the pressure. He's the one that gets them over the top in his mind. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to the Cavs? It's not even true. LeBron, if he chooses to be, is going to be a great NBA analyst. He will be great at this job.
Well, he's already a great NBA
Right.
analyst on his podcast.
Right, which actually was what he's doing now.
Yes.
But that's not good analysis. How about your other squad, Minnesota? Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Don't they have to take a step further? Aren't they?
I think we're all at the place where we're acknowledging what LeBron James said was ridiculous. What we're trying to figure out is why did he say it, and you believe it's because he's angling for a departure from LA. To that, I would say, why would the Cavs do that? Why would they do that?
Because of
The
what we
Cavs
just said
should
before
have
about...
zero interest in that.
You know what?
Why would they do that?
Okay.
Rob Lorenzo, our social and digital director, he's a diehard Cavs fan. There's no world that exists where he would want them to run it back with Bron. No world.
And I think most Cavs fans agree.
Most Cavs fans feel like that. So if you're the Cleveland Brass, why would you interrupt what you're building with this young core of players? What would be the point? What would be the rhyme or reason?
I agree with you.
Especially from a leadership standpoint, too. Think about that. Like, LeBron comes in. He obviously is LeBron James, second greatest player of all time. He's won there. He has history there.
Yeah.
And he's going to want to come in there and exert a certain amount of power and control. Why would you do that to Donovan Mitchell? Why would you do that to what seems to be a great locker room with good chemistry? Because obviously that's going to upend it in a pretty significant way.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that was an interesting thing. And, Nuno points out, our producer, that ESPN.com says the Cavs have the most pressure on them to win the title this year also. What happens if they don't? Like, what are we
Nuno
talking
said that?
about?
More than the Knicks?
No, I
No, he
didn't
said
say that.
ESPN.com said that. Did I not say that part?
I was like, Nuno, what?
I'm sorry. I apologize. He pointed out that ESPN.com
Got it.
has that in terms of the pressure ranking. I just don't know what happens if they don't. So they trade Jared Allen? That's like going to be a huge headline for everybody? No. Like, pressure means you get rid of your star player or you get rid of your coach. That's what makes the headline. That's why we talk about the Bills, the Super Bowl or bust. That's why, by the way, interestingly enough, we now have to loop the Ravens back in because now there is the conversation about John Harbaugh in terms of Super Bowl or bust. Well, playoffs are a win or bust, I guess, at this point. But you get the point. What happens? Nothing. Now, what happened last night with a certain 7'4", 7'5", 7'6" guy is truly unreal. We will get to that coming up after Smalls has nothing in front of her. So we are going to get to
Hold
that.
on. I got it.
I'm sorry. Has that as first with Venmo. Sorry.
That's